Self-love is like narcissistic repellent. Once you fully love yourself, they stand no chance. Hello everyone, and welcome to Soul GPS, where we learn to take our life back in our hands after narcissistic abuse. And today I wanted to talk to you about a very important topic, and that is the one strategy, the one defense that works against all narcissistic abuse. And what is this thing? What is the secret? The secret is self-love. So I remember when I heard about this the first time, it made perfect sense. But first thing I did was ask myself, like, what is that? What is self-love? It seemed like this very amorphous, vague idea. And I've heard it. That was the most frustrating thing, is this was something that I've heard so many times in my life, that this is something that I needed. So it made me even feel worse at that point, because I was like, okay, well, I know that this is something I should be doing, but obviously I have failed. I have failed to do this for my entire life, and this is something that has brought me to this moment when I feel utterly destroyed. So what is self-love? So over the last few months, as I've been working on my own healing journey after overcoming devastating 4 betrayals in a row in less than a year, I finally have hit the wall. I've hit the ground, and I said, okay, I gotta master this thing. I gotta figure out what this is. So with the help of coaches, with the help of books, with the help of videos, with the help of deep self-inquiry, I was able to discern what self-love is. And you know what? I figured out why I wasn't able to master it in the first place. The reason why is because self-love is so much more than just a concept. It is so much more than getting this idea and having the light go on, and then I'm like, oh yeah, now I got it, and it stays with me. Nuh-uh. Self-love is a practice. It is something we do. We do this as a practice of a lifetime, and therefore it is going to serve us a lifetime. Self-love does not arise from a conceptual ideation of what it is. It's not a philosophical concept. It is actually something that has to be rooted in action. So for the purpose of this video, what I did is I discerned self-love into 3 steps with some instructions as to what you can do in your life in order to begin to implement it. Now here's only one thing and one caveat. It requires you to do this every single day. And you'll notice, if you give it a start, if you give it a chance, that it becomes something you literally don't want to live without. It becomes like drinking fresh spring water every day. It becomes a nourishment for your soul. So I really want to invite you and encourage you to take a look at it with an open mind and perhaps implement it into your life as a daily practice. So step number 1 of self-love, especially after narcissistic abuse, we're talking about this in this framework, is setting boundaries. Boundaries are so essential because it allows you to see where you end and others begin. The reason why so many of us have been trampled upon and have been taken advantage of and used and abused for so many years in our lives is because we have weak boundaries. You know, our self is similar to a house with open windows and open doors that invites everyone and anyone in. And of course, we did invite, I am sure, some really great personalities, but we also invited predators, and we invited people who came in and left crap all over our floors and left dirty dishes behind and trampled through, you know, our sacred space with dirty shoes. So we need to be really, really careful so that doesn't happen again. How do we do this? We learn simple practices such as learn to say no. Learn to really understand what it is that you like versus what it is that you do not like. So when you're invited outside of that zone of your own comfort, and I'm not talking about, you know, learning something new where we do need to step outside of our comfort zone, or healing where we also step outside of our comfort zone. I'm talking about, you know, being asked to do something that just does not feel right to you. So you need to listen to that intuition and listen to your inner guidance in order to discern what feels right to you versus what doesn't. The most important thing in this process is knowing to say, no, I am not going to do that. and not going out and places that just don't resonate with you, and not participating and doing things that just you feel are not right for you. So give yourself the permission to say no when you feel like saying no. And give yourself also the time to really discern where your boundaries are, because they're not visible. It is something that is internal. Now, the benefits of having healthy boundaries are immense. One of the biggest gifts you will receive pretty shortly after you make this vow to yourself that you're going to do this is you'll notice that your self-respect is going to increase. So you're no longer are going to put yourself in harm's way and allow other people to sway you and ask you to do this or that and be this kind of a leaf in the wind. Now you're going to be much more rooted, and you'll know your value. All of those things are going to start to raise over time, which is why we do this all the time. It's not just one day that we're going to set our boundaries and then stop. This needs to be a lifetime practice, especially as you move on and you will begin to get exposed to all sorts of new things. You will start meeting new people. You'll start getting introduced to perhaps new practices, new things you might want to do with your life. Your life may open up into a whole new vistas. This is where you need to make sure that you take your boundaries with you, because these people are everywhere. So once we heal from this, that does not mean that they're never going to show up on our path. They likely will, especially given the state that our world is in. So boundaries are essential. Step number 2 is commitment. It is an agreement you make with yourself. What commitment is going to do, it is going to give you a sense of self-esteem, because this is where you're putting yourself, you're learning to put yourself first. You're learning to make yourself very important. The steps to manifestation go like this. You think of something, then you write it down, then you talk about it, then you commit, and finally you take action. So you notice that there is like this density that occurs with each one of those steps. Commitment is a really, really important step, because once you tell yourself you're going to do something and you actually do it, it's going to make you feel so good about yourself. And step number 3 is action. Action will help you to build self-assurance, because every single time you're going to do, actually not just think about something, but do it, you're going to feel like, I actually can do it. So you're going to learn to self-rely on yourself and have this sense of assurance that if you make your mind to do something, you actually are going to get it done. So boundaries, commitment, and action are these steps that form a positive feedback loop that each time you complete a cycle, they're going to strengthen and give you a deeper sense of self-respect and self-love. This is self-love in action. So I want to actually take this video a little bit further and make it practical and invite you to do this exercise with me. I would like you to ask yourself, and ideally, if you have the ability to write this down, go ahead and pause this video and get yourself a piece of paper. Once you have a piece of paper, I'd like you to write down what it is that you want. It doesn't need to be a big life vision. If it is, that's even better. But what do you want? For instance, you can say, I just want to feel better, right? I just want to feel relieved, or I want to get active again. I want to go for a walk. I want to, get my health back. I want this depression to go away, or I want to feel a sense of connection with another person. Just whatever resonates with you, write that down. And right next to it, write the question why. Ask yourself why it is that you want this. Why do you want to get your life back after all of this abuse? Because it's going to make you feel better? Because it's going to give you a deeper sense of sanity? Because it is going to make you feel like you're back on track? It's really important to understand the why behind your action. So take a moment to think about it. Write down what you want, and write down why it is that you want this. Once you have those two components, write down an action that you are willing to take, that is going to take you no less than 5 minutes, but no more than 30 minutes to complete. Here I'm going to give you some ideas. Some ideas may include literally going on a walk. Maybe it is about calming your mind and doing 1-minute meditation, 5-minute meditation. Maybe it is taking a bath. Maybe it is journaling. Maybe it is writing down your goals. Maybe it is watching a funny video, which can be a great thing to do, especially if we're stuck in this kind of a heavy mode of ruminating about the relationship and ruminating about what had happened to us. Maybe it is cooking a healthy meal for yourself. Maybe it is signing up for a yoga class. Maybe it is writing a letter to yourself. Maybe it is calling a trusted friend. Maybe it is doing a positive mirror talk where you look at yourself in the mirror and you say wonderful things about yourself, that you're beautiful, that you're worthy, that you're valuable, that you respect yourself, that you love yourself. Or if these don't quite resonate, you can say, I am learning to love myself. I am learning to be there for myself. I am learning to count on myself. I am learning to create a new life for myself. And then what I would like you to do is commit to actually doing this. Doing it before the next 24 hours end. So make it something simple. Make it something that is absolutely doable. Make it something that is within your reach. Because I guarantee you, after you do it, you're going to feel so much better about yourself. So let's recap again. What you do in order to build self-love is, number one, you set your boundaries. So you begin to focus on yourself. It's no longer about the world. It's no longer about anyone else. Now it is your time to focus on you. So know what it is that you want. Know what it is that you need. And commit to doing it. Make that agreement with yourself so that you can build your sense of self-esteem. And then once you do that, commit to taking a specific action that is going to take you out of where you are right now and give you that sense of movement, give you that sense of progress. Because nothing makes us feel better in our life than progress. It is a myth that gaining new things or even having that next new relationship is going to make us happy in the long run. The only thing that is going to make us happy in the long run is that sense of us making progress. So we can regain and reconnect with that sense of happiness even for a moment while we're going through this really heavy process of healing. And we can do it by taking those little actions that are going to take us out of this funk, out of this sense of grieving, out of this heaviness, so that we can take that one little step. And let me tell you, the body, as the book says, the body keeps the score. So every time you take an action towards ensuring that you're going to be building something positive for yourself in the future, what's going to happen is that your body is going to keep adding those things up, and eventually you will reach a tipping point and things are going to feel so much better. So I hope that this video helped you. I hope it inspired you to take a little tiny action today, and then maybe even make it a regular practice. Maybe incorporate it into your daily routine, into your morning routine, especially before you go out there and face the world, so that you can take that sense of positivity, that sense of self-assurance, self-esteem, and self-respect into the world. So it can become this nice background radiation of love that you will take with you everywhere you go. So I encourage you to make that a daily practice. I encourage you to try this. I encourage you to build this sense of self-love so that it can serve you for the rest of your life. And as you do that, remember to always let your inner compass guide you. Thank you so much, and I will see you in another video. Take care. I'm sending you lots of love. Bye-bye.